I have
Jay Powers, and I'm still trying to figure out how to work this camera.
oh, yeah? Well, yeah, it is April 29th, and this is our last show. It was before the draft. It was the day before draft. We did a draft preview. So we are going to discuss the Chiefs' path. Wow. We're going to discuss the Chiefs' draft picks. We're going to see how they did. I'm going to kind of break it down, give my opinion on it. I'm going to talk about the Shedeur Sanders gate. We'll call it that. You know, he ended up getting drafted in the 5th round.
Oh, we're going to talk about it.
Yes. But they had him, you know, early in the draft process, they had him practicing doing one-on-ones with Cam Ward, the eventual number 1 overall pick. So, you know, we will discuss that. I'll give my opinion on it.
Oh, I will too.
You know, yes, we will discuss our opinion on Josh Simmons as the first pick that the Chiefs got. And but before we get going, Jay, I want to talk about my weekend, man.
Talk about your weekend. Let's do this.
Let's talk about my weekend. So I want to give a shout out to Stephen St. John. Right, he had me come out to the Christian Okoye roast. He hosts it every year. Well, it was the Christian Okoye Foundation. And this year, it was supposed to be a roast for Kevin Ross. And, you know, so I get there, and, you know, I'm thinking it's going to be a few guys, a few former athletes, you know, just a few guys there. But got there, and it was a star-studded evening, Jay. And, you know, I like to consider myself cool. I'm a cool fella, you know.
Sorry. It's dusty in here. Woo!
Hey, and you know what? I am fully 100% aware that cool people don't say I'm cool, but I'm cool. You know, for whatever metric you have.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is called irony.
Anyway, but yeah. So you know, like we meeting all these important guys, these guys that I grew up watching. You know, me and my grandpa, we had a game. What was it called? Tecmo Bowl? It was on Nintendo. It was the one where you have
There was Tecmo Bowl, there was Tecmo Super Bowl, then there was Super Tecmo Super Bowl on the Super Nintendo.
It was one. It was from the Tecmo franchise. So I don't know which one it was, but it was the one where you had to blow it to get it to work. Sometimes you had to bang it a little bit.
Well, that could be Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl.
So yeah, it was the little box Nintendo game.
I remember the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay,
yeah.
so like I was probably, you know, just a young fella, you know, probably 5-6 years old, and I started playing my grandpa in the football game. And, you know, Steve DeBerg was the quarterback. Barry Word was the running back. Dan Sumala, I've never been able to say his last name. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Dan, do you know how to say it?
No.
Okay, all right. No disrespect.
That's why I'm not even going to try. But
yes,
anyway.
yes. But so yeah, he was there. Kevin Ross was one of the cornerbacks, and you know, like, and to grow up playing that game, and then to be in a group, be in an event where I meet them, you know, like, and who are the other people there? Jim McMahon was there.
From the 1985 World Champion Chicago Bears?
Yes. With his running back was the sweetness, Walter Payton. You know, he was who was the defensive coordinator? Buddy Ryan, head coach Mike Ditka. Like
Ditka.
He was the bad boy of the NFL. He was. Who would you compare him to now? Who would he? We don't have one now.
Who would I compare Jim McMahon to? Are we talking talent-wise or personality?
His personality. Maybe Baker? Maybe Baker. I'd say Manziel if he worked out.
I was about to say Manziel because he flamed out before he got hot. So
yes.
I want to say Baker competitive-wise,
yes.
I'd say Baker Mayfield. But as far as like outright arrogance,
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I was going to say Joe Burrow, but apparently you had the better insult on that one. But, yeah, you know, so there's a couple of McMahon carbon copies running around.
Yes, but, like, he was an enigma. You know, like, there's not going to be another exact, you know, like, he would wear headbands and write things on it.
Yeah, he invented the headband.
He invented the headband and the look. And NBA started doing it. All these other sports started doing it. And, you know, he used to write his own messages on there and get fined from the NFL. And he basically was saying, blank the NFL. He's going to do whatever. So he was He was the bad boy. He was, like, and to see him, like, just conversating. And, it wasn't like a book signing or just a quick little thing. I was in there chatting with legends. You want to know who else was there? Eric Dickerson.
I wish I could hang out with professional athletes on a semi-regular basis.
Well, hey, we're working that way. And he said he would come on the show. So I had a few guys that said they would come on the show. So we're gonna get some of those things lined up, and we're gonna have a good time. Tim Barnett was there, and he actually invited me to the Neil Smith and Derek Thomas Foundation Celebrity Golf tournament on Monday.
You are not going to do well in that tournament.
No, I already did it. It was this Monday. It was the next day.
Okay.
And I didn't do well, but I didn't do awful, Jay. That was my first time playing golf that didn't have moving nets and stuff. What is it called? What's that? What's that golf thing that's not golf? It's off here on the road.
Golf?
Top golf.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was my first time actually like playing a round of golf, but I was respectable. I was probably second to the last worst guy on my squad. It was.
You know why they call it golf, right?
Why is that?
Because all of the other 4-letter words were taken.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that factual?
No, that's a joke.
Okay, all right. Well, you said it with a serious face. I didn't know which one.
I'm always serious. This is my 100% serious face.
Okay, fair enough. But
I'm always like this. I'm intimidating.
Poker face. You should play some poker. But all right. So you know what? Let me tell you this, Jay. It was bittersweet. You want to know why it was bittersweet?
Because there wasn't enough sugar in it.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess technically.
Okay.
All right. So when you go to a celebrity golf tournament, what do you expect?
Let me see. Inflated egos, inflated self-worth.
Okay. Well, besides
autograph
that,
seekers, paparazzi, and a bunch of jewelry I will never be able to afford.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me change the question. If you were golfing in a celebrity golf tournament, what would you expect?
Cheating.
Okay, forget it. Nope, forget the question. Forget the question. All right, when you're in a celebrity golf tournament, you'd like to play golf with a celebrity.
Hence the name.
Yes. And in my group, I was the celebrity, Jay. Which is, so I say bittersweet because it's like, hey, I'm at a point in my career where I'm technically the celebrity of my group. Where the bitter part comes in. Ooh, I'm the celebrity for my group. We have all these Hall of Famers here.
Yeah.
We have all these chief greats.
And somebody that was so excited to be, hey, who's my celebrity? Covell Hudson.
Which is...
Damn!
Yes, it's like a signature. That my signature right now isn't worth a whole bunch of money, but give it some time. So those four fellas are going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 8 months from now, they're going to be like, you know what? Hey, I golfed with that fella.
Hey, that first autograph hits, don't it?
Yes.
When somebody said, "Can I get your?" Yeah, and you sign stuff because I used to sign stuff for people all the time when I was on the radio station in Kansas City, and people call me, "Oh, you were the first celebrity that's ever been nice to me," and I signed stuff for people at the crowd in Arrowhead, so you always remember them because there's somebody's just wasted ink. Somebody's.
Yes, and you like to believe every time you sign something.
Yeah, it's gonna end up on eBay.
Or eBay, or it's gonna in some museum.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't sign too many autographs. Not because a lot of people don't ask for them. But anyways, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was humbling, and once again, I brought up me being cool because in my head, I'm kind of like screaming with joy. That's Jim McMahon. Oh man, this is Eric. But I have to be. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. All right,
you gotta have some sort of self-control.
You gotta be cool. You gotta act like you've been there before.
I'm around athletes and musicians and stuff all the time, so it's like second nature to me. But the only time I have ever fanboyed out was I was working security for the roast of Priest Holmes a couple of years ago, and Priest had an emergency, so he had to fly back to Texas. So it was no roast of Priest Holmes. It turned into like this, hey, here's a funny story about Priest Holmes. And I got to see all of these former NFL stars come in, and it's just like, hi, how you doing? Now, at that time, I was not well-versed in former Chiefs players.
Yeah.
And so Anthony Davis walked by, and he became my new favorite Chiefs player ever.
Yeah.
Because he was just so cool. He was like, security, what's up, dog? How do you get away with that hair? You know, just whatever. And he was just totally cool. And I'm like, all right, Anthony Davis, I'm going to follow him on Twitter, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all of these other players came in, and that's kind of like, hey, how you doing, all that stuff. You know, and then all of a sudden this dark tinted window vehicle just pulls up, and door opens up, and out steps the most handsomest man I've ever seen in my life.
Matthew McConaughey? I'm just playing.
No. He's tall, chiseled, still looks like he's in his 20s. And I just screamed out, that's Tony effing Gonzalez.
Oh.
And that's because it's Tony,
It's
right?
It's Tony.
And I said it to his face, too. He was like, hi, how you doing? I repeated it. You are Tony effing Gonzalez. Yeah, it is. And I'm like, big fan, grew up watching you. Damn, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but that was the only time. Every Sunday, I'm down on the sidelines next to Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, and they treat me like one of the boys, which, you know, is par for the course, you know?
No, yeah.
I see Tony Gonzalez stepping out of a limo with some other quarterback. I forgot his name already because why? That was Tony effing Gonzalez. And I lost my mind. I may have peed a little.
So I'm trying to think, what would be my guy I meet where I'd have to, like, fanboy? A few years ago, it would have been Lil Wayne. He's been on a weird run as of late.
Yeah.
That's Lil Jon.
Or whatever. What?
We don't all look the same, Jay. I had to do it.
You got me.
Oh, man, that was beautiful. Where do we go from there? What were we talking about?
Your fanboy moment.
Okay, who would I be a fanboy to? Like Obama. Obama would be hard to keep
respectable.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, you have to be cool around Obama because
he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're Obama. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
How are you today, Covell?
That's not a bad Obama. Yeah. That's not a bad Obama.
You should hear my trump. It's hilarious.
Let me hear your trump.
It's kind of like this. You know, you're listening to In the Pocket with Covell. He's not the greatest Covell, but he's one of the greatest Covell. Hudson on 810 Sports, WHB in Kansas City of the great state of Kansas.
Well, you know, I think that's acceptable. I think that is acceptable.
You have to get a little wine in there, you know.
For yeah. But you have too much I'm not a music person, but you have too much not bass.
Treble.
I don't even know what that means exactly.
It's Donald Trump. He doesn't really have a whole lot of bass to him to begin with. But yeah, you know, Obama, you know, he's gonna listen to the show and he's gonna like it.
Obama would like this show.
He would.
I think he would.
We want Obama to call in the show. I would lose my mind.
You know what? I'm going to start doing it every month. I'm going to send a request to the. Oh, he's not in the White House anymore.
No, he's not. But
I'm going to send it to his estate or however that works. And
I think you can, you know, how to contact Obama. You just call him, you know, just write him a
and I know if I invite him to my wedding, he wouldn't come.
But he would send you something.
He would send something that says, "Sorry, I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah,
big dog. I'm gonna come to the next one or whatever."
Wait, Obama just said, "See you at the next one, player."
Well, okay, not the next one, because that means he'd be putting bad juju on it.
Yeah. But no, yeah. I'll try to get Obama on the show.
All right, we need to do that.
All right,
but yeah, and you know what? All right, before. We'll start talking about the draft, but I want to, you know, the last thing.
You don't even want to hear about my weekend. It's all about you. I'm playing golf with celebrities. Ooh, how can I compare to that?
For sure. That's how it is. It was hard for my lady to get a word in this weekend.
Yeah. Honey, can you do? No, I'm playing golf with Jim McMahon.
I'm playing golf with Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
I was in the same facility. I didn't play with him, technically, but, you know, he was there.
Yeah.
But,
you got a selfie. That's all that matters.
Yes. And you know, I would have took more pictures, man, but you can't be fanboy. I can't be in there taking selfies.
You are part of the media, sir. You are part of the media, and you are taking pictures to put on your website.
I wasn't wearing that hat that day, though.
Oh, no. You're Covell Hudson from Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Yes, but I have several
Click,
hats.
click. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
I have several hats.
All right.
What
You gotta work that. Okay.
All right. And I'll ask you about your weekend after this. One of the highlights of my weekend.
Okay. There's playing golf with Jim McMahon, and then there was the highlight of my weekend right there.
See, you doing it that way is gonna make this sound even weirder. I was in the bathroom.
Oh dear.
Stay with me, man.
Nah, we gotta go commercial. Nah, okay.
I was in the bathroom, and it was an intermission, or it was a little break, or they got through, with the presentation. And what happens when everybody's drinking and been sitting for a while? Everybody goes to the bathroom. So I ran to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom with legends, and Kevin Ross was talking to Eric Dickerson, and he was saying, I don't know how you took 25 carries a game. And then Eric Dickerson said something like, well, he said something like his knees are on autopilot. But I was in the bathroom for a conversation between legends, and it felt like I was a fly on the wall. So that was one of my highlights. Is that a weird highlight, Jay? You're making a face as it is.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You were in a bathroom with dudes talking football, and I was at an adult dancing establishment in Dallas, Texas, doing Jaeger shots with the drummer from Pantera one time. So I can understand how awesome that is. Okay.
Yes. So, we all handle our activities by ourselves in the bathroom. But other than that, okay. Yeah, so. Just put that out there.
I got you.
All right. How was your weekend?
Mine was pretty good. I caught the Saturday evening professional baseball contest between the Royals and the Astros.
Okay.
And I was in the VIP seating for that one. So I am sorry for the concession workers that had to go up there and see me every inning going, yes, another plate of loaded nachos. I'm not gonna lie. I must have eaten about $900 worth of free nachos, because I was getting my money's worth, right? I went with my good buddy Tyler Fry. His mom was in town, so I was like, let's go to a baseball game. And I had no idea that food was on the house, so it made it cheaper. And I drank 3
So
beer
that saved you $150.
Yeah.
Okay. That's always good.
Yeah. And then I drank my 3 beer bats, and we all went home. It was nice. And then
did you drive or did you get an Uber?
Well, I stopped drinking. I drank them early in the game, so as it progressed, I was like switching to Coke or stuff like that. So
that's a good answer.
It's all right.
That's a good answer. Did the Chiefs win? Oh, Chiefs.
The Royals. Royals won, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then on Sunday was my daughter Veronica's 15th birthday, and I got her a goofy little card that she loved, which is a bittersweet moment for me.
Why is that?
Because next year she's 16, and goofy little cards isn't going to work anymore. She's going to want a car. But Dad Thur says, happy birthday, sweetheart. We love you. So.
Yeah, happy birthday. What's her name again?
Veronica.
Veronica, happy birthday. Yeah. If you move to the city, she won't need a car. She can just take
No, she wants my car.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She wants the Trans Am.
You going to give it to her?
No.
Okay.
I love my little girl. I don't love her that much. Okay?
Okay, but that's why I say you should move downtown where they have the street cars. And you say you can go wherever you need to go. You don't. It's built on a human scale.
No. She wants Dada's jet black, topless, go fast machine. The bald eagle machine. That's what she wants.
Topless, is that what you call it?
It's a T-top. So
no, I know it's a T-top, but I'm trying to.
Well, you can take the top off.
Okay,
so
topless. All right, that's
top,
fair.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stay with you.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, all right. Well,
happy birthday, Veronica.
Happy birthday, Veronica. And it's all I got this segment. I think we're probably going to go to break, and then we're going to start talking about what people actually want to hear about. The draft.
The draft.
And Shedeur Sanders. So
yeah.
So
we got a lot to talk about that. So
yeah, we won't make you guys wait too long as if you're Shedeur Sanders, but we'll be back after this. You can find me in the station, Spitting Education. And all right, you're back in the pocket. This is Covell Hudson. And we are going to discuss the draft, Jay. You ready to discuss the draft?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this all week.
I was going to have a pretty nice flow, but I decided to keep it sports. You know,
Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit my day job. All right, I won't do it. All right. Let's talk about the draft. What is the draft? The draft is something that thousands of players look forward to every year with the hope that they are chosen. And I say with the hope that they are chosen because it's not just and hope is you just, hoping for something to happen. But you put work in from Little League to South Suburban to what are some other little leagues? Pop Warner.
Pop
Warner, then you go to middle school and you go to high school and you go to college. And, every level, you play at a higher level to prove that you're ready for the next level. So college is what prepares you for the draft, and what you do in college depends on where you get drafted, right? I'm just trying to break it down for somebody that doesn't know what the draft is.
Let's do that.
So yes, getting drafted, not like you're getting drafted to war or something. You're getting drafted to come play for a team. That's how it works. And there's 7 rounds, and if you have a first round draft picks are very valuable because that means
you're going to the worst team.
Well, that's the first overall, but the first round is essentially the 32 best players in college that year before that's eligible to play. So those are the guys that get drafted. So it's a big deal. Where if you're one of the best, you're usually going to go to a worse team. Yeah, that's how
the worst of the best goes to the best team.
Yes, the worst of the best goes to the best team.
And the best
the best of the best of the best goes to the worst team.
And the worst of the best goes to the worst team.
Go to the something like that.
Words are hard.
Words are hard sometimes. But I say all that to say, well, all right, let me start with this. Before I say anything about the Shedeur Sanders situation, I believe Shedeur Sanders was a third round prospect. Just, and let me give you what I'm talking about. He played for his dad. His dad happens to be Deion Sanders, but he played for his dad in college. And usually when a player plays for his dad, what does that dad usually do? Puts a system together that'll make you thrive, that'll make his son thrive. And that's on any level, whether it's YMCA, Pop Warner, middle school, high school, whatever, across any sports. A dad is going to put you in a situation to make you look good, right? And if your dad is Deion Sanders, who's, one of the best NFL players ever, that, the reason he was considered with everybody else, with all the other top quarterbacks, is because his dad was Deion Sanders.
And not the fact that he led his team to a 13-11 record over 2 seasons.
Well, yes. And, okay. So I say, so that's one caveat. He played for his dad in college. The other caveat is he doesn't have the strongest arm. He doesn't have a great arm.
But he had the most accurate passing year in college history.
Well, see, and that's one thing. But so he doesn't have the most strongest arm. He's not the fastest. He's not the most athletic guy. So he's not a great at in college. He wasn't asked to call plays at the line. He wasn't, asked to make adjustments and read defenses. He wasn't made to 5-step drop and go into your progressions. You have 1 or 2. What was he doing? I'm a drop back and I'm looking for
Travis Hunter.
I'm looking for Travis Hunter. That's what I'm doing.
That's your playbook right there. Okay? And people wonder why didn't he go in the first round? It's a shock. He had his draft room and everything. He had his platinum and
legendary.
Diamond. Yeah, he had his platinum and diamond chain that he was going to wear. He had all 32 NFL teams, hats lined up, ready to get that call and put it on for the camera. Yeah. And he fell out the first round.
Well, and March 3rd, Deion Sanders, he I forgot what podcast he was on, but he was getting interviewed, and he said if he gets drafted by a team that he doesn't want his son to go to, He said, "Yeah, I'll step in. I'll do something about it." And you see every interaction with Shedeur and Cam Ward. Shedeur comes off looking arrogant and not likable.
I have a theory on that.
You have a theory on what?
I have a theory on this whole situation.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
All right, hold on one second. So I say from the beginning, I thought he was a third-round prospect. Played for his dad in college. He didn't win a national championship. You know what I mean? So he didn't just bring wins. He made Colorado respectable. He didn't run a pro-style offense. He doesn't have a strong arm. He's not super athletic. The biggest thing he had going for him is his name and his personality, and I think that is what scared GMs away. What were you going to say, Jay?
I was going to say I've seen this. We've all seen this before.
Yeah.
Okay? We have all seen this before where the dad says, my child is the best ever, and he needs to go here. And, yeah, I'm talking about LeVar Ball. Deion Sanders has become LeVar Ball, and the parallels are scary.
Well, see, I wouldn't go that far. Because I don't even have a problem with LeVar Ball. But here's the thing. LeVar Ball was doing what he was doing. And it was good marketing. It was good business.
But his shoes sucked.
His shoes did suck, and it probably ruined Lonzo's career. But Lonzo was so good, people didn't care about that. When Archie Manning said he didn't want Peyton to go somewhere, I forgot where it was, but he ended up going to the Colts. When Eli came out, he got drafted by the Chargers. Yeah. Archie said, I don't want him to go there. And he was vocal about them not going anywhere. But Eli still got drafted. Who else do we have? Like, the point is, you have to be so the distractions that come with Deion Sanders, he has a microphone in his face every day. He coaches. So if he was to get drafted by a team, and
I'd have slapped the mic out of Dad's hand. Shut up.
Well, if
you're ruining it for me, Pops. But listen.
Well, but if he was to get drafted by a team, and the starter struggles, now you have everybody saying Shedeur Sanders should be playing. Deion Sanders saying my son should be playing, and I think people don't want to deal with that. But just because Shedeur isn't a blue chip elite athlete, and he acted as if he was, and they handled themselves as if he was. So I think there's nothing wrong with LeVar Ball if your sons are good, because he has two sons in the league that are pretty good. They're serviceable players. LaMelo, he's up and down, but the other one, Jello, the one that got in trouble for stealing stuff.
Jello?
I think his name is Jello. He got in trouble for stealing in London or something. China. He's not in the league because he's not good enough to overcome what the distraction was. Does that make sense?
Yes. And this is where the whole Deion Sanders is the new LeVar Ball stuff comes into. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
LeVar Ball named all of his kids Lonzo, LaMelo, LaJello, or I don't even remember the guy's name. Okay? And they all had to go to the same school.
Yeah.
All right? And and let's not forget LeVar Ball was a athlete at one time, air quotes.
Mm-hmm. Never lost.
All right, and made it all the way up to the Carolina Panthers practice squad, and said he could beat Jordan in his prime when he carried a career average of two in a row points in a game. Okay, now you have Deion Sanders, certifiable two-sport badass.
Mm-hmm.
Played for the Braves and the Yankees and whoever else. Won a World Series ring. Played for, at the same time playing professional football. Won him a couple of Super Bowl championships. All right, Hall of Famer. So right there's the first parallel. Named all of their sons pretty much, had the same, spelling pattern. LeVar, Lonzo, over here on Deion Sanders, you got Shiloh and Shedeur. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
That's another parallel. Here's where it gets freaky, though. Deion Sanders had 2 toes amputated. LeVar Ball had his whole foot cut off.
Oh,
okay.
What?
So if you're you've seen this pony before. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
And both of them said, my son's going to rock the league.
But
LeVar Ball
dad says that, though.
LeVar Ball told the Lakers, draft my son, we're going to win championships. And so they drafted him number 2 overall. How many rings did Lonzo Ball bring to the Lakers?
He won.
None.
One. He got traded, and with those pieces, they got Anthony Davis, and they won a championship. So the Lakers got a championship out of Lonzo Ball. So LeVar Ball was a genius.
Count.
It counts.
That does not count.
If you're the GM of the Lakers, you were a genius for drafting Lonzo Ball and getting a pick.
How many championships has he won so far?
Well,
it starts
he's
with
1-0.
a Z.
But look,
all right.
But and I hear what you say. Some of those comparisons are wild and crazy, but they are comparisons that are fair comparisons.
Yes, they are.
But
now, when you look at Dion saying his son is going to be a 5th round, or not a 5th round, a top 5 pick. My son is going to be a top 5 pick. He wasn't a top 4 pick. He wasn't a top round 4 pick. He was a middle of the 5th round pick, and he did all that hype just to go to Cleveland.
Well, look, I think Shedeur should have been drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. I said I think he was a 3rd round talent. He should have been drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. But the reason he wasn't is because your backup quarterback can't be more popular. You can't bring that much distraction. That's why Cam Newton, at the end of his career, he couldn't be a backup quarterback because you're already a celebrity. That means that whoever the starter is, if he's not Patrick Mahomes, if he throws a pick or he loses a game, they're going to say put Shedeur in. So you draft somebody in the 1st round, you expect them to be able to take the keys and do it right away. But he's not able to do that. So, but at a second or third round draft pick, you're not able to get that guy to do that, if that makes sense.
I will say this, and everybody knows I have no love for the state of Ohio.
Yes.
But if they put the Browns training camp on pay-per-view, this is me throwing my credit card. Take my money. I want to watch this. I want to watch.
I'd be interested as well.
I want to see this because you got Deshaun. My Achilles hurts this time. Watson with his.
I need a massage.
Yeah.
Watson.
Okay. And then who you got? Who
Joe
else?
Flacco.
Joe Flacco. You got that. You got him. And you know that dude that has like the Browns jersey with all of the quarterbacks on the back of it.
Yeah.
He's got like 6 more names to add on to it now because you've got Watson. You've got Flacco. You've got Jameis Winston.
No, he's gone. But they have Pickett. They have Kenny Pickett, which is like not having a guy at all. No disrespect. And they drafted Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
He was projected 5th round pick. No, it's a mess.
It is.
Did you see the GM and the coach's face?
Oh yeah. They look like they were at a golf tournament.
Yes. No, they look like. It looks like you were at a what was it? The looks they had on their faces as if they got invited to a 3rd grade Christmas performance, but like not their kid or their nephew or grandkid.
Like their nephew's grandkid.
No, it's like their neighbor.
Yeah.
You rode with their neighbor, and then they said, "Oh, I forgot. I have to go to this Christmas concert." That's what those guys look like when they drafted Shedeur.
But yeah, you got these guys literally look like they were at a wine tasting. It's very nice, very good. And they're not happy.
Yeah.
And there is nothing more I would love to see more for $19.99 a month is to watch Shedeur Sanders fall on his platinum chain wearing butt in training camp, because now he's got to listen to somebody besides Daddy. All right. Dad wouldn't make me do that. Dad's not here, is he?
And look, and I'm not even going to say that he's just this big prima donna. He's just this big baby.
I'll say it in bold italics, underlined.
It's not like he was awful. It's not like he's an awful football player. He was probably the 5th. He should have been probably the 3rd or 4th quarterback taken. But with everything around him, and in the words of Seren Petro,
Hallowed be thy name.
He has a story about I forgot what player it was, but it was a player they paid a whole bunch of money with the Royals, and they were paying a whole bunch of money. He wasn't playing that good.
Andrew Benintendi?
It could be. I don't know. But I guess the manager, somebody was trying to ask him for an interview or something. They were trying to talk to him, and he said something rude. And I think the manager or somebody yelled to him, you're not good enough to be an asshole. you know, like you're not good enough to be that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Shedeur Sanders, he wasn't good enough to be doing what he was doing, him or his father. And that's all I will say about the Shedeur Sanders situation. Do you have anything else about it?
I thought it would be funny if they got drafted Mr. Irrelevant.
That would have just been not nice. What about Jeff Ulbricht's son that pranked Shedeur Sanders? How do you feel about that? Inbounds or out of bounds?
Out of bounds. Because he was the son of an NFL exec. And he pretty much just said, hey, my dad left all of his stuff unsecured, so I had everybody's phone number. How many people's phone number did he copy down? Probably a lot. So, seize this kid's phone or something
or
like that.
Or he saw Shedeur, he's like, we got to do this.
We got to do this. Had it been anybody else, that would have been the funniest thing I've ever heard of in my life. I thought it was when I first heard it. I was like, they got him. They got him. And then I found out it was an NFL executive's son, and I was like, you know better, dude.
Yeah. Well, see, even if it wasn't his son, if it was just some random people, that's still not a funny joke. And I'm a comedian. That's still not a funny joke to me.
Oh my God. It was hilarious.
I mean, it's hilarious, but funny. Everybody has to be having a good time. And
that's the point of a prank, dude.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it can't be. That's his life. He's on live TV.
He's on
in front of millions.
Live TV outside because he's not getting drafted that round either, and he's got his phone around, and it rings, and here it is. Okay, and who is this? Hey, this is the GM. I just wanted to let you know we're going to draft you, but you're going to have to wait a little bit. Hilarious!
It's part hilarious, part just cruel and not nice. That's bad karma. So I hope he stubs his toe. Jeff Ulbricht's son. I hope he stubs his toe on the bed frame or something. Nothing real major, but stub his toe because that's not nice. Would you rather stub your toe or get embarrassed on national TV?
Oh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say live TV. I wouldn't say live TV because that means, the ESPN cameras are out, and they're videotaping this dude everywhere. So they get this. They get to see. You probably see that segment aired once and then never again.
What's that?
The clip of him taking that call. If it was
that's going to be that's going to be all over everywhere.
Yeah,
for a long
time. But if
time.
it was ESPN, they play it once. Look at this bad thing that happened, and then they would never show it again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
but,
all right. That is going to wrap up this segment here, and when we come back, we will actually discuss Josh Simmons and the picks that the Chiefs drafted.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, we'll be back after this.
That was Shedeur's theme song in the draft.
Can't touch this. Never mind. All right.
Hey, we did get a message on our stream chat. NASCAR Cup 22 fan says, "You mean it isn't just what Stephen A. is preaching? Love listening to you."
It's not just what Stephen A. is preaching. No.
I may sound like Stephen A. Every now and then, but I kind of.
I've never confused you for Stephen A.
You sure?
Yeah, never.
You just said we all don't look alike. And, all right.
All right. So the Chiefs, leading up to the draft, there was a big discussion. Will the Chiefs keep their draft pick in the first round, which was pick 31? Will the Chiefs keep that and draft somebody, or will they trade back? And we went through the history of the Chiefs drafting late in the first round. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you're like, I could have traded back and got some more picks. But the Chiefs ended up keeping it. No, they traded
Back.
up. We were 31. Yeah. The Eagles traded in front of us, and we picked after them. So the Chiefs stayed in the first round. And what did everybody say the Chiefs needed to get? They needed to get.
I recall you saying at least once they needed a left tackle. You might have brought that up.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure.
I did. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm good.
At least once.
I'm solid.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, for sure. Yes, left tackle was a need. We needed some more help on the D line, whether that was a defensive tackle or an edge. We only have this next year. After next year, we're only going to have like 3 guys under contract at wide receiver. So we probably need some wide receiver help. Was anybody talking about linebackers? No, not necessarily. But and running back. A lot of people wanted the Chiefs to draft a running back. Darcy really wanted a running back drafted.
He really
he really did. But what the Chiefs did with their draft was they found a potential franchise left tackle, which is very hard to do at 31. And the Chiefs drafted Josh Simmons, who was injured late in the year in 2024. He only played 5 games, but he had great film. And granted, they wasn't the greatest competition, but at San Diego State he played right tackle and left tackle, so he was versatile. And Veach has a thing for guys that are versatile. He loves that, and Andy Reid. So if it wasn't for the injury, he probably would have been a top 15 pick. He probably would have been the first offensive tackle on the board. So the Chiefs pick him up despite his knee injury, and it could end up being the steal of the draft. But since the Chiefs signed, what's his name? Our left tackle that they signed.
Josh Taylor.
They signed him, so
Josh Simmons, I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about the guy that we signed in free agency.
Oh God, your guess is as good as mine. I'm looking at the draft picks right now. So,
and I know his name too. Like my brain is mush because we have 2. Forget about it. Long story short, Andy Reid said Josh Simmons should be ready day 1 of training camp, but the Chiefs are in a unique situation. The Chiefs are in a unique situation that this guy doesn't have to start. I've seen a few projections that he'll be good enough to start on day 1, but the Chiefs signed a guy at left tackle from San Francisco. Can you look that up? I believe his name is Moore.
Let me check.
All right, yeah. Man, I can't believe it's leaving me. But
everybody got all excited about the draft. We forgot.
Yeah, need a Chiefs break is what we need. But the Chiefs are in position.
Defensive tackles?
No, left tackle.
Left tackle.
The guy they signed from San Francisco, free agency.
Hold on. I'm looking. Jalen Moore. I knew it was a Moore. So, yeah, the Chiefs signed him. He was a career backup, but the Chiefs are projecting him to be good enough. Like when he played good. So they're projecting him to be able to be a starter at left tackle. I like to believe that they plan that's still the plan. It's his job to lose. Because last year they started a rookie at left tackle and it didn't really work out. So let's get a veteran in there, and that rookie has to certifiably be better than the veteran.
Than the veteran. So, but I think that's such a good position to be in because they weren't expecting Josh Simmons to be available, but he was available. So now you have 2 potential guys to start at left tackle. So it's not a big blaring hole as it was in the last season and to start the draft and to start the offseason.
I thought it was a good move, although that knee has everybody going.
But it was essentially a scope, though.
I mean, it was a patella tendon tear. And those aren't exactly like an easy injury to come up with or to get over with.
Well, if it was Tyreek Hill, I'd be concerned.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to be that quick.
That is true, but then again, I'm also coming off my own history of knee injuries where I totally separated my knee and tore my ACL, my PCL, and ripped out the meniscus. And It's not been quite the same since. Then again, I did go from injury to surgery in 18 months, whereas these guys get injured on Saturday because he's in college, MRI on Monday, surgery set on Thursday, that kind of thing. So I'm hopeful, but I know that's not an easy injury to recover from. I got all the faith in the world in Brett Veach because he there's a reason he has that job and I have this job. It's because I'm a smooth talker. But, yeah. But I like the fact that we went, this is what we need, this is what we're going to get. And we got a beast so far.
Yes, and like I said, the beauty of it is he's not forced to be played in this. He's not forced to be thrust in the situation. So if that knee is kind of scary, he can kind of wait. This could be a red shirt year because we have Jalen Moore. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Donovan Smith is still out there. So I think that shores up the left tackle. So that makes the offensive line a little bit more predictable and knowing what's going to happen, and raises the ceiling of the line, I believe.
Right. So I give that a good A.
I give it an A minus, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, if he's damaged goods, then it doesn't help out.
Because I remember a couple of years ago when we got Kyle Long. Kyle Long was an animal, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs kind of talked him out of retirement, so he said, okay.
And he lost a whole bunch of weight.
He did. And then he got injured in training camp, and he suited up for like one game.
Yeah.
And he never played.
But he was older then. He was like 27 at the time.
He was. And I had such high hopes in Kyle Long that I really wanted him to work out. It did not.
I like this craziness.
Oh, yeah,
Seemed like he was here a while, though.
He was here for 1 year.
I feel like he was here for a couple years, but
no, that's how long it felt trying to get him off the disabled list.
Oh, yeah. So, Josh Simmons, I give it, it's an A minus. It can be an A plus if he turns out, say, starting day one and he ends up having a Hall of Fame career. That'll be a great pick. Yeah. So, second round, the Chiefs picked up Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle.
Animal.
From what I hear, he's a bit inconsistent, but he's an animal. They question his motor. But you put his motor next to George Karlaftis' motor that never stops. That evens it out, right?
Oh,
it would have to. But he's a big mean guy, and
6'2", 291, 23 solo tackles, 44 total tackles, tackles for loss 10, sacks 9.5.
That was his last year, right?
Yeah.
So no, he has some Chris Jones qualities. Almost as who was our first round tight end last year or our second round tight end last year? What's his name?
Man, why were you living in the past? I have no idea.
Well, because I'm gonna compare, what's his name?
Didn't we talk about this last week too?
Man, I'm gonna pull it up here. Because I compare him to, and his name's not on here. He ended the season in. Forget it. In size and projected gameplay, it's pretty close to Chris Jones.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was the tight end we drafted last year, he built like Travis Kelce. So we'll see if he's gonna be a Travis Kelce, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, and I've been watching film. And he has quick feet. And what I didn't say about Josh Simmons, did you watch some of his film?
A little bit, yeah.
He's good at getting to the second and third level. He's good at getting into the meat of the defense and finding that second guy to block.
Mm-hmm.
He's quick at pulling. He's mean. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And Omar Lott, I don't know which one he goes by necessarily, but Omar Norman Lott. He's a handful. I've seen a few of his highlights. He has quick feet. He has quick hands. But like I said, the only the downfall of him was he doesn't bring it on every play. But that's something that when you get to play next to Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, professionals, that should get worked out. The cream rises to the top. And,
So, right now our defense is looking pretty good. And we're not even getting into the second round or the second pick of the third round. Because I really liked this guy.
Gelati?
Gelati.
Yeah.
Because, one, he looks like the Honey Badger, and we loved Honey Badger. And the guy tackles like Willie Gay. So it's like we got two of our old guys back with this one dude. I like him. I can't wait to put him out there.
Yeah, no, like
they're going to have a lot of stoppage time in Chiefs games next year because they're going to be bringing out the carts. Our defense is going to hurt people.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, and who that doesn't bode well for is
Josh
FAU.
Allen. Oh, FAU.
Well, yeah, FAU Felix Eneduke Uzama. I think I said that right because he's been kind of fighting for minutes. He had a good reserve role last year, but this is supposed to be the year where he gets the reps and he's either takes Mike Dana's spot or he's just on the field more.
Yeah.
So with this fella here, that could make things weird for that competition. But more competition, the better. So I feel good about that one.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So we gave Josh Simmons A-. Omar Lott, we'll give. I'll give that a B.
Papa Thomas on Facebook said sit Thomas until week 8.
Sit Thomas.
Yeah, or sit Simmons. I'm sorry.
Sit Simmons until week 8.
I can't read.
No, he's not a quarterback. You can't sit an offensive. You like whoever starts the first game of the season.
How about this? How about this? All right. Rotate him in. Third.
Gross. Gross. It's like switching quarterbacks. Like, your turn.
No. Rotate him in second. Second down. Third, whatever. Third. Bring him in on third down.
Sacrilegious.
Bring him in on third down.
Why would you? What, as a tight end?
No. Rotate him in. Third down, short yardage situation.
Who's the most valuable player in the NFL right now? Good question. Who's the most valuable quarterback in the NFL right now? Who would you guess?
That wasn't your first one, but well, the most valuable.
The most valuable.
Oh man, Deshaun Watson, because he got all that guaranteed money
on the field.
Okay, on the field. Yeah, now that you narrow it down, the most protected quarterback has to be Patrick Mahomes.
The most protected. I don't know what that means. That
yeah, they need to protect him at all costs.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The most valuable on there. We could say
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable quarterback in the league.
If you take Josh Allen out of Buffalo, they're 4-13. All right.
That has nothing to do with nothing. Patrick Mahomes has hardware. Just MVPs, Super Bowls, multiple records. He's the most valuable player in the NFL. So the last thing you want to do is halfway through the drive on third down, you bring in this rookie and let's see what he does. No, I hate it, Jay. Usually I can be like, I can see that, but I hate that idea, Jay. And what'd you say, Papa Doc, whoever the guy that commented? Papa Roach?
Papa Thomas.
I was close. I knew it was Papa something.
His reasoning is simply this: rest his knee. I'm for it, Pop. I got you back on that.
Well, if Moore's playing awful, then you want to, but like rest his knee. No, if you're ready, you're ready. If you're ready, you're ready. And whoever starts the season is ideally who ends the season. Whoever starts the season at a position like that, that's who ends the season. What positions can you try to swap at week 8? Maybe quarterback if you have a rookie or a second-year guy and you have an aging veteran and your team is struggling. Receiver, because you can switch guys out. Okay, which positions can you not? Offensive lineman. That's the only position that you can't plan to play a guy in week 8 because that just seems like it throws everything off. And then say he plays awful, and now we got to go back to the other guy? No, yep, you and him, what I'll say is that was an awful idea. But you know what? Keep throwing ideas out because, some We're gonna get some good ones out of there.
Oh, I forgot. I was co-hosting the show with a celebrity golfer. I forgot about that.
I'm a C-list celebrity, Jay, and put some respect on it. All right, don't you forget it. All right. Once I get me something on Tubi, well, I'm on Tubi. I'm in a movie. I'm in a few movies. I'm certified C-list celebrity right now, Jay. So don't forget it, and it's just gonna go up. And let's go to break. I don't even know what we're talking about here, Jay. I don't even know what we're talking about. We're gonna be back after this, top of the hour, and we're going to talk about the rest of the draft, and then we'll talk about other stuff. We'll be back after this.
I'm sure I will have a few more Shador jabs as well.
Okay, as long as you don't have any awful ideas like the offensive line, platoon offensive line. It's in high school. Let's get out of here, Jay.
Yeah.
We are back in the pocket with Covell Hudson, certified C-list celebrity. But we are going to finish discussing the draft. Thank you, Beastie Boys, for that introduction. That's Beastie Boys, right?
Not even close.
Who's that?
That was Run DMC.
Well, I didn't really even hear it, so I was like, okay, all right. Don't be disappointed over there, Jay, and don't take that card that that I'm talking about.
No.
You can't take that card. I heard it in one. My volume's low. So all right, let's. All I heard was every other word. It sounded Beastie Boysy. Okay. Where were we, Jay?
Did you not grow up in the 80s?
Well, I was born right. I was in the 80s for a hot second. I was born in November '89. So
I'm so disappointed.
Well, hey man, I'm a historian, but some fall through the cracks. They're pioneers, but I don't go back, and it's not on my playlist. All right,
it should be because Run DMC is in my playlist, and I was a rock DJ.
Well, and I was a. I have nothing. All right,
and it shows.
You said what?
And it shows.
Well, whatever. All right. We're going to finish talking about this Chiefs draft and talk about it, and then we'll go through it. And at 9:30, we're going to have Michael Darcy from Kansas City Sports Report come on, and he's going to give his opinions, and I'm going to see how sad he is about a running back not getting taken.
We did get a running back. We did get a running back. Round 7. But we got a running
Rashard
back.
Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 1 year running back. He was a receiver. Okay,
We got a running back, so, Darcy should at least be full of some joy.
Yes, but usually when you get a guy in the 7th round, I usually count that as not getting a guy. I'm just playing. Pacheco was a 7th round draft pick, so you know, and he started. Was it year 1?
Yeah, he took over when Clyde had his. I want to say yes. I remember he threw up in his first game because I was standing right next to him.
I'm trying to think. Did he start first game? I remember he came in. Who was the starter? I don't. Oh, we still had McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we had somebody else too.
Oh, we had a lot of people back then.
We've had a lot of people. Yeah. It's been a revolving door. But all right, and pick in the 2nd, 3rd round pick 85, the Chiefs drafted Noel Williams. And his film is pretty good. And that is a Spags, that is a Veach, that is an Andy Reid pick if you ever seen one. They like long, lengthy corners that can play some press, that are ball hawks. He has to work on his man-to-man coverage, but in zone and reading the play and being a playmaker, he proves to be what the Chiefs want. He's almost Snead-ish, I'd say. So, yeah, I think that's another good pick. And over these next few weeks, I'm going to be diving into their film and, so I can know what to be expecting when they get into camp. But Noah Williams, our cornerback room, we could use another guy in the secondary because McDuffie should be more on the inside. So we need guys that can be on the outside, and we don't have to feel like we have to throw McDuffie around. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Papa Thomas is in our comments.
What is Papa Thomas saying?
He says, I graduated in 89, so he knows what's up. He knows who Run DMC is.
Well, you want a biscuit? I don't know. Well, I know stuff. I know some stuff and some stuff. I can't even get my words out.
I know how to speak English.
So Papa Smurf, who does he listen to?
Oh, we'll find out in a second.
Yes, we'll find out in a second.
Yeah, Noel Williams, I like him. He can take the ball from you. He can take the ball to the house. He can hurt you. I like him.
Do I specs?
Yes. 6 even 199. So he's speed.
That sounds like a corner, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's speedy. And just looking at some of his stats in 2020, only started 5 games, but he had 25 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 interception. In 2021, he played in 10 games, 8 starts, 33 tackles, took 1 away, 4 pass breakups. 2023 started 13 games, returned 2 fumbles to the house, 53 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And in 2024, he was a second-team All-American, first-team All-ACC, 7 interceptions, tied for the team with 9 pass breakups, third in the FBS with 16 passes defense, returned a kickoff 80 yards for TD, so that's
I saw that play.
Yeah, and started all 13 games on that. So the dude will take the ball and turn it into points. I like it.
And the punt return and kick return for the Chiefs has been a revolving door for a while now.
Right. I think I was scheduled to take a few kicks last year, too.
Really, yeah. So
Powers,
he's an
get in
option.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, he's an option to potentially take that position. Well, yeah, to take that position. And that one there, I'll give it a B. I don't know yet. I really don't know. The Chiefs have I'd say an A, but the Chiefs have a few guys, but this is it was 2 guys drafted in that same year before the Super Bowl. The tall man, I don't know nothing today. Williams and the guy he started, Watson.
Watson.
So this is their last year. So this could be a pivotal, this is their last year. So Noah Williams has a position, is able to step in because both of them are kind of underachieved to this point.
I think he's going to light it up.
See, I do too. The guys we talked about so far, that's 4. I'd like to believe they all can contribute day one. But that's just not usually what happens. So I'm trying to temper
anything can happen in St. Joe.
Yes, that's true. That's true. All right, 4th round, 133rd pick, Jalen Royals, receiver. And he seems to be a dog. Or was it Jalen Williams that played running back and then switched to receiver? Or was it Brashad Smith? No, that was Brashad Smith. He was a receiver and switched to running back. But Jalen Royals, his numbers and his profile was pretty good. I'm trying to remember why he went so far down.
Let me see. Well, size has something to do with it. Explosiveness, he might lack the desired explosiveness, but he makes up for it for his body control and feel for the game. Good size and is keenly aware of defenders around him. A decent route runner, but doesn't have the short area foot quickness and burst of wide open windows for his quarterback. So basically, he's not a long threat right now.
Well, he led. I heard something. He led the college football in 50-plus or like deep passes or something like that. So they're expecting him to be a deep threat, but he's sure-handed. 6 foot 200 pounds. That's about what Rashee Rice is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think Rashee Rice is 185 soaking wet.
But he's about 6'2". No, Rashee Rice isn't tall. He's 6 foot.
He's a little guy.
And that's even 6 foot is kind of questionable when it comes to Rashee. He didn't. I've met him, and he's not towering over me. But Jalen Royals, his NFL comparison is Golden Tate. Or comparable body type, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't like either one of those. Yeah, I don't like either one of those comparisons.
Oh, Golden Tate had like 1 or 2 good years.
I mean, he had a few. And who did he fight? Was it Diggs?
Everybody.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but he did whip Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and there was a quarterback, too, I think he fought. Russell Wilson. Nobody likes Russell Wilson. Yeah.
All right, during the break, I'm going to look that up because
for sure.
I need to see that. But, part of me wants to say the Chiefs drafted the Royals.
I didn't like the smile, Jay. I didn't like how excited you were to say that.
It was, and next year the Royals are going to take some guy named Chiefs. So, I don't know.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But, I put him in the 4 slot.
4 slot?
Yeah.
For the Chiefs right now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 4th round. Who the Chiefs got on the roster right now?
Oh my goodness, they have Rashee Rice, who may or may not finally get suspended this year, coming off of a knee injury. Of course, we got Worthy. Worthy's number 1 all day.
Worthy. Number 1 what? Receiver?
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is the number 1 receiver. Or are you talking about pending legal situations?
Pending legal situations.
All right. Hollywood Brown's number 1.
I forgot they re-signed him.
Yeah, so Hollywood Brown, I believe it's Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jalen Royals. Best case scenario as of right now, Justin Ross is still on the team, Nico Remigio. Juju Smith-Schuster's still on the team, and they like him because he's going to be where he's supposed to be. It's almost like they don't even like using him during the regular season. They're like, playoffs, we just need you to catch a few slants. We need you to catch a few slants. So no, yeah, I don't think this is a year where we're expecting much out of him.
I'm not. I wouldn't pencil him in for 800 yards and 6 touches. I wouldn't do that. But I would definitely use him in some critical. Medium.
He may give us more than Sky Moore.
I mean, I can give you more than Sky Moore. And I got hands of stone, brother.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm excited about it. And our next show, I will have more of a depth. I'll have more depth in these players. I couldn't get them words out. But all
It
right,
happens like on a
Yeah.
regular basis with you.
it does. All right, 5th round, 156 pick, Jeffrey.
Bassa.
I can't read my handwriting. Yeah, Bassa,
I got it right here. Right there.
linebacker,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know much about him. Do you?
I hadn't heard too much of him, but
No.
that probably because he went to Oregon, and I don't really pay attention to ducks. But apparently, he was pretty good. 126 solo tackles, 14 tackles for loss, in a 55 game, career, and I like it. As a linebacker, I mean he's no Luke Kuechly, but and that man was an animal. That is my standard for all linebackers is Luke Kuechly, and you can't say otherwise.
Why?
I mean, Luke Kuechly would run through a brick wall, tackle his own grandmother, get the ball running back to the house. That was Luke Kuechly right there. He was an amazing field general, and had intelligence for the game like you've never seen before.
Who are you talking about?
Luke Kuechly. Say something bad about Luke Kuechly right now.
What do you think? He's a top 10 linebacker ever or something?
In 8 years, he put up numbers that you've never seen before. I mean,
I wouldn't say that. Luke Kuechly was good, but he wasn't like.
Luke Kuechly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame after 8 years.
That's another sacrilegious statement. Luke Kuechly, Hall of Fame.
Prove me wrong. Say something bad about Luke Kuechly right now.
Well, like he was all right. He was on a bad team.
He was all right.
None of it turned into winning.
It was all right. It's blasphemy. I'm cutting your mic off the rest of the show.
What did he do great?
I don't know. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Over 120 tackles like every season that he was. Only got injured like 4 times as a linebacker. Look him up right now. Tell me you wouldn't.
Well, like I'm familiar with his work, but
then you're gonna sit there and tell me with that same face,
Would you-
he wasn't that good.
well, you're making it seem like he was a Hall of Fame, like he was Brian
He is a Hall of
Urlacher.
Famer. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I love how you got to Google your opinion. That's awesome.
No, I know my opinion. No, I think he was a very good player, but
back then he was 30 seconds ago he was all right.
He was all right in the league. In the history of the NFL. You think he was? What is he on the top 100 list? Top 75
Yes.
of players of all time.
Yes.
Jay, that's crazy.
Over here, oh my goodness! When you come in with your opinions,
Like,
what's wrong with you?
he played for the Panthers. What? Like,
Yeah, and
that's a crazy. I'm gonna write that down. Luke Kuechly. So, as far as linebackers of all time, where is he in your mind?
2. Number 2.
2. Who's in front of him? Ray Lewis?
Lawrence Taylor.
Who?
Lawrence Taylor. All right, Luke
Defensive
Kuechly.
end.
Luke Kuechly was consistently ranked in the top NFL top 100 players list, including being as high as 7 in 2016. So 2016 he was 7. 2019 number 24. 18, 12, 17, 20. 2015 he was number 14. Dude was an animal, and he was the prototype for linebackers. That's who you wanted. That's who you wanted your kids to grow up and be, is Luke Kuechly. So anytime I see a linebacker go to any team, there is that comparison.
So they said he got snubbed for the Hall of Fame. Like, well, I gotta look into it, Jay. I can't see him being one of you said 2 of all time, which sounds wild.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I put Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher just easy.
What? Because Ray Lewis would kill you if you didn't put him up there? Ray Lewis kills people.
Metaphorically speaking, for the lawyers. Well, yeah, no, he'd kill you on the field for sure.
So right now, it's me and the internet agree that Luke Kuechly is a great player, and you're saying no, he's not that great.
I never said he wasn't a great player. He's not one of the greatest players.
Oh, but he all right.
Devin Booker's a great player, but he's not an all-time great. Kevin Durant is a great player, but he's not top 20.
LeBron James is down 3-1. Ain't he the greatest of all time? I went there. Woo!
LeBron James is almost our age.
And?
No, how old is he? He's older. He's almost 40.
Yeah, he should have hung it up years ago.
Oh,
man ain't winning no more rings. Anyway, so
we need to take a break because Luke Kuechly, LeBron not being great. Like, the whole break, I'm going to be looking like, I know Luke Kuechly, but I've never been like, oh, yeah, just best linebacker
when
ever.
Luke Kuechly was playing, who did the Chiefs play? And tell me you wouldn't have switched. What's up?
Well, that's not the conversation. that's
all
not
I'm
the
saying
case.
is,
I think we had Hitchens at that point. So of course I'd take Luke Kuechly.
There you go.
But
if
I wouldn't
you
take
wanted
him
Luke
over.
Kuechly on your team, then you are a Luke Kuechly fanboy. What's up?
Whoa, no, not at all.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take him over Ray. I wouldn't take him over Brian Urlacher. I wouldn't take him over Dick Butkus. I wouldn't take him over Otis Taylor.
When Luke Kuechly gets in the Hall of Fame, I'm going to spend the entire show dedicating everything I say to Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly.
Who's the running back for the Broncos with John Elway when they Terrell Davis? He's in the Hall of Fame, and he probably shouldn't be. Bless his heart.
O.J. Simpson's in the Hall of Fame. What are you trying to say? The Hall of Fame ain't that good no more?
Well, O.J. Simpson was that dude, but I'm not talking about O.J. I'm talking about the juice. You know, it's different stages when you can root for O.J.
Yeah.
It's different stages when you can root for O.J. So as far as on the field, certified. But we got to go to break, man.
Let's go to break.
We'll be break. We're get me out of here, Jay. Hey, yeah, we are back in the pocket on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You kind of look like Andre 3000, just a little bit.
We don't all look alike,
I
Jay.
didn't say that.
We do not all look alike, Jay. I don't want to emphasize. I can't emphasize that enough. You know, when I was in shape.
Way back in the day.
Okay, all right, take it easy. When I was in shape, I'm not in awful shape. The men in my family, we just get guts. From chest up, I like an athlete. Waist down, I look like an athlete. It's just this gut, all right? And I don't even have a huge gut. But the point, when I was in shape, and I was in the gym.
And round is a shape, so you're still in shape.
It was a different shape, though. When I used to go down to Power and Light, I used to get mistaken for Jamal Charles all the time.
Can I be completely honest with you? The first time I saw you, you look like LeJon Witherspoon from Seven Dust.
John Witherspoon from Seven?
LeJon Witherspoon.
Let's see who this is and to see if I should be offended. LeJon.
L-A-J-O-N.
Oh, I spelled that wrong.
J-O-N. Witherspoon.
J-O-N Witherspoon. Oh, man, I'm ready to be offended. Whatever, Jay. That is wild.
Am I wrong?
You're very wrong.
Why? Because you don't have.
This guy looks like a beetle.
What?
He looks like a beetle.
What?
Are you saying I look like a beetle?
No. You got the same style dreads.
What? No, same style. No,
are we even looking?
These aren't even dreads he has. Those are them twisty things. Those are fake dreads. That means he had like a fro, then he had hair added, I think. This is 18 years of dedication, Jay. Yeah, okay.
Say he looks like a beetle. What's wrong with you?
LeJon, who is with LeJon Witherspoon?
He's the lead singer of Seven Dust, one of the greatest bands you'll ever hear in your life. But yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him right now, and he's got the same hairstyle as you. He's wearing the same color shirt too. So
same color shirt.
Yeah.
Where you see him in a light blue shirt?
Well, I'll show you during the break.
I'm on Google.
Yeah, I am too.
But hey, the theme of this show
looks like a beetle. What's wrong?
The theme of this show
is you
we
being
don't
wrong.
all look alike. We don't all look alike. All right?
People are going to see me on the street and be like, yeah, Jay, I didn't say that. I'm not implying that.
Hey, that's what I'm implying. Who'd you compare to Lil? Yeah, who'd you get confused with Lil Jon? Who was I talking about?
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, Lil Jon.
I mean, it helps if you got Lil Wayne, you got Lil Jon, you got Lil Jon.
And to be fair,
little LeJon, come on now,
boy, I'd hate for us to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
Well, before I used to make sure my tags was good. I used to always match the description. But anyways, what are we talking about, Jay? What are we even? I don't even know what word. Luke Kuechly's not top two. We're gonna ask Michael Darcy. He's gonna be on the phone in a few minutes here, and I want to get his opinion on it. Because I think he's going to be like, he was a good player.
I think he's going to put him in higher regard than you, where he was just just because he played for the Panthers.
Well, but look, my scale, that doesn't mean somebody's a bum. Because I think Kevin Durant is His career has been But LeBron James has been great. Tigger style. Was that Tigger that said great? No, that was a Frosted Flakes.
That was Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. I knew it was a tiger.
You don't know your rap groups. You don't know your sugar cereals. Hey, but you're going to tell me Luke Kuechly just linebacker.
I was busy being a celebrity this weekend, Jay. Okay? All right? I had a few adult beverages and not a lot of sleep. All right? So, yeah, what are we even doing here?
I don't know. I'm going to get Michael Darcy on the phone. How about that?
Okay. And, we're about to go to break here. But, Luke Kuechly, you don't even have the phones on, because we could have asked people if they're
open now.
They're open now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Didn't help us, an hour ago, but they're open now. That's cool. Luke Kuechly, top 2 linebacker. I'm about to top linebackers of all time. Nowhere does this list here mention.
Did I make
Luke
that list?
Kuechly.
Did I make that list? Because you asked me where I put him, and I said number 2.
Well,
So
that's, wrong.
that's not my list.
No, it's not.
That's not my list.
Well, this list has credibility. Your list is not credible.
You think you're a Class C celebrity golf hero?
I never said golf hero. I said said class.
You said Kadarius Toney was the number 1 wide receiver. All right, I'm gonna pull that out all day.
Yes, you are. Yes. Top linebackers of all time: Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Junior Seau. Let me do top 25. Let's see if these people think he's top 25 linebacker. James Harrison, Sam Huff, Patrick Willis, Ricky Jackson, Kevin Green. Let me go down this list. Terrell Suggs. Luke Kuechly's not better than Terrell Suggs.
You asked me. I put him at number 2. And by the way, Kevin Green is a bad MFer. We love Kevin Green. I stand for him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think you're probably the only guy. Derek Brooks. Yeah, you're probably the only guy with that thought process of yeah, I'm done looking. I think I've proven myself right. But
we have no Darcy.
No Darcy?
No Darcy.
No Darcy.
Hold on. I think we got Darcy.
That's probably Darcy there. So, yeah, overall, we've gone through everybody in the draft up until the 5th round. The last pick, 228, round 7, was Brashard Smith, a running back out of SMU. And if I'm correct in my information, he was a wide receiver for 3 years, and then he played 1 year at running back. But he had monster numbers that 1 year. Brashard Smith stats. Let's pull that up while Jay is back there producing. Say that again.
I'm going to try and get Darcy on the line.
I am?
No. So we'll take a short break. We'll get Darcy on the line. I promise.
All right, bet. We're taking a break now?
Yeah, we'll take that.
All right, let's do it. We are back in the pocket. Sports Radio 810 WHB. I am Covell Hudson. And Jay, good news, bad news?
Well, we are definitely going to have a problem here because we got Michael Darcy on the line.
Oh, boy. All right, let's get him on.
How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
How's it going, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just enjoying the last couple of weeks of school. So you guys know that that's probably not going very well for me, trying to pull off that academic comeback. But
comeback.
Are you finally going to graduate to 4th grade?
That's my goal. I've been trying for about
15
years now, but I'm close.
Well, thanks for coming on, Michael Darcy of Kansas City Sports Report on YouTube and Instagram, right?
I'm trying to branch out. I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. YouTube's kind of the one-stop shop, but yeah, I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to be like Covell over there.
Don't make me blush. I'm a C-list celebrity, man. So it's a hill to climb. Not the biggest hill, but it's a hill.
Hill nonetheless.
All right. I wasn't gonna start this off with this, but Jay said something I thought was crazy. Besides getting Lil Wayne mixed up with Lil Jon, and I had to explain to him
at least I didn't say he looked like Flavor Flav.
That would have been not borderline disrespectful, but disrespectful.
We probably would have had to take this show off the air.
Yes. But I keep trying to emphasize to him we don't all look alike. But Darcy, question. Luke Kuechly Is he a top 2 linebacker of all time in your opinion?
Jay, why'd you do this? I was going to agree with you that he was one of the better linebackers that we've seen, but top 2?
Well, that's Jay's opinion. And
because he asked me, where do I rank Luke Kuechly? Where does Jay Powers rank
But
Luke
you
Kuechly?
injected him into a conversation that he shouldn't have been into because we were talking about great linebackers.
Because I said anytime a linebacker, I compare him to Luke Kuechly because when he played, he was all over the field. He was making plays happen. He could read defenses. That is who I
For
look
5 years in Carolina.
Who's your number 1, Jay?
8.
Who's your number 1?
That was my question. Who's your number 1?
Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, but I still consider
Where
him a
does
DN.
Ray Lewis fit on this list?
Brian Urlacher, Derek Brooks.
I do not like Brian Urlacher because he was a Bear, okay?
Oh, boy. See,
yeah.
this is what we're doing here.
Yeah, okay?
This is why I can't talk LeBron with Jay.
I don't think having Ray Lewis in your top 2 is criminal.
Ray Lewis kills people.
On the field, Jay.
On the field and off the field.
Thank you, Darcy.
Allegedly.
No, there was no
Yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. It's a Hall of Famer.
Ray Lewis stabs people.
Whoa, all right. Wait, that is the
Ray
thoughts
Lewis,
and opinions of Jay Powers. Is
Ray
that?
Lewis allegedly stabbed people. All right. So, I mean.
That's the Super Bowl champion you're talking about.
Yes, it is.
And a horrible dancer.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
And he could have done it just a little bit better. Anyway, Darcy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't really know what to say after the Urlacher and
There's been a lot of weird things happening in this show.
debate, but
Yeah, like I don't even know. We were talking about line. Yeah, we were talking about Jeffrey Bassa, and and somehow he was saying he compares him to Luke. Anyways, that is I say sacrilegious for him even suggesting that. But all right, so the Chiefs didn't draft a running back early, and I know you hate Pacheco and you wanted the Chiefs to draft a running back early. How did you feel about them not doing that?
listen, going into this draft, I thought that running back was one of their bigger priorities to address, and I still think they addressed it, so I'm not, like, super upset. Could they maybe have addressed it in the 4th or the 5th round? Yes. But at the same time, I think I would have been more upset in the 2nd or the 3rd round if they took the current players that they did and there was still, a Travion Henderson or Quinshawn Judkins or an Omarion Hampton. If those guys were still there when the Chiefs were picking in the 2nd round, I'd be upset because clearly the Chiefs do not care about trying to give Patrick Mahomes a great running game because those guys could have made your team a lot better. But I think that's just the way the draft fell. I really don't have any complaints about where they did pick a running back because by all accounts, Rashard Smith is someone that is kind of Pacheco-esque, and he's a faster Pacheco. He might have a little bit more elusiveness. And, I think he's got a role on this team, but it'll be interesting to see where he fits in. I definitely would have liked them to draft a running back earlier, but they didn't. And I'm all right with it, but it'll be very interesting to see, how Omar Norman-Lott and, Ashton Gelati, how those guys play. Because if they're not good and, the other guys, like the running backs that were still on the board in the 4th and the 5th, like, Devin Neal and DJ Giddens, if they're good, I think that was bad for the Chiefs.
Okay, fair enough. So how did you feel about the Chiefs being able to draft Josh Simmons? Are you cup half full or cup half empty with him?
Going into the draft, I thought that the Chiefs drafting Josh Simmons was a pretty high likelihood just because he was the guy that all the national analysts said that the Chiefs were going to take. And realistically, I didn't think that he was going to even be available at pick 31. And
wild.
So the fact that the Chiefs traded back with the Eagles, got a 5th-round draft pick, and still took their guy, I think that's pretty impressive on Brett Veach's part. Like, you traded back, and the team that you traded with, they weren't going to take your guy, and you got a 5th-round draft pick. Like, that's just being a shrewd GM. Now, the pick of Josh Simmons is interesting because clearly the Chiefs were rattled by what happened in Super Bowl 59, and they thought to themselves, hey, if this guy could be the future option at left tackle, we're going to take him. And listen, he's coming off of a torn patellar tendon, and I don't know if you guys have seen the stats, but like 45% of the players that end up going through that injury never end up playing football again. So it's almost half of the players that suffer that injury don't play the sport again. But clearly Rick Burkhalter and that athletic training staff don't have any questions about that knee, or if they do, they're clearly not enough for them to not draft the kid. So, listen, I think that Josh Simmons is not a 2025 player. He's probably a 2026 player. And I think time will tell if they made the right decision. But I'll tell you what, it's a gamble. It's a big gamble, but we'll see if it ends up paying off.
See, I'd say it's a gamble. I don't know about big gamble because the Chiefs put themselves in a situation. They signed Jalen Moore. So Josh Simmons isn't in a position where he's just needed this year because, I'm not interested in 2 straight years starting a rookie left tackle, different guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, him coming in and he's not needed to, step up necessarily right now. I think good organizations, especially one that's trying to keep a dynastic run going, I think it's like almost the ultimate move because if he works out, it's great. If not, we still have a dude and we can still win, if that makes sense. So, I feel good about it.
I think that it's not even like 2025 that I'm worried about because I don't think he should play in 2025. Like, if he plays in 2025, I feel like that's probably the worst case scenario just because you did sign Jalen Moore and, he's coming off that injury. Just give him the time to come back. But I'm kind of looking at it as, a move in 2026 or a move in 2027. And let's just say that he's not any good and he's not able to even, be the same player that he was at Ohio State. You can't keep throwing these first-round draft picks in the toilet. Like, that hurts. That just hurts. And I hope for the Chiefs' sake and for his sake, it works out. Even if he's average, it works out.
He's going to be the next Fisher. He's going to be our next.
Tell you what, if you can get that at pick 32, I'll take that all day.
Well, it seems that's what the Chiefs may have gotten. So, I'm excited to see how it plays out. But
either way, we're going to find out.
Either way, we're going to find out. And Andy said he should be ready first. He's projected to be ready first day of training camp. So that's interesting. If he's ready, then that's what's going to make things interesting. But I
think fans need to relax a little bit. I don't think he's playing.
Have you met our fan base before? They never relax.
It's true. Pacheco was even recorded saying, "Ain't no relax." So yeah, it's from the players to the fans. All right, Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle. How'd you feel about that one?
There were a lot of people that didn't really like the pick. They said that the Chiefs reached there. I don't agree. I think that the pick was actually pretty good. I mean, you saw him at Tennessee not get a ton of reps, but he had the highest pressure rate among all defensive tackles in college. Like, why are we going to not acknowledge that? That's a pretty meaningful stat. I know there's some people out there that don't buy into it, but, he produced in college, and he didn't have a super big sample size. And that's the kind of stuff that I think is going to translate to the NFL. And you're pairing him with the best defensive tackle in football in Chris Jones. And I just don't see a world in where that doesn't work out.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, Ashton Gelati. It sounds like never mind. Ashton Gelati, how you feel about that pick at edge?
I don't know what you thought it sounded like. I'm in the dust right now. But
Gelato.
Oh, okay.
I was going to leave it alone. I wasn't going to do it. You made me do it, but go ahead.
I don't really know how I feel. I think the Chiefs needed an edge rusher, and it was pretty important. This is the guy that has a lot of athleticism. If you just look at his tape, he flies around the field. He makes plays. He doesn't really fit the typical Steve Spagnuolo athletic profile. He's a little bit undersized, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to make a big difference. I feel like he provides you with speed coming off the edge, which, that's not something that the Chiefs currently have in their pass rushing room. So I like the pick, and I think that the bigger picture is that you have a guy in Charles Omenihu who you cannot bank to stay fully healthy for 17 games. You've got Felix Uzama, who is a rotational pass rusher at best. Can't assume that he's going to take the next step. He hasn't shown that in the past couple of seasons. He is going to get some run. Gelati is going to get some, snaps this season, and if he makes the most of them, I think we forget about Felix very quickly.
When me and Jay talked earlier about it, I was saying it's good news for Chiefs fans and most people, but I don't think it's good news for FAU because he was a role player last year. He got in limited duty. So this was supposed to be his year, but with this new fella Gelati, that may spell the end or no playing time for him for sure.
Yeah, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
Yeah. Bless his heart. All right. The second, third round pick 85, Noel Williams. I feel pretty good about this one. You have good information on him?
Oh, I love this pick. And the Chiefs did have to trade up to go get him, and I understand. I think they gave up their fourth-round pick next year, which was the fourth-round pick that the Bears gave us for Joe Thuney. So that's not great because the Chiefs only traded up 10 spots, and so the trade-up might not have been great, but I do think that the player they got was great because I think he led college football last year in interceptions. He's a ball hawk, and I think that he is just the prototypical cornerback that Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo take, and he turns out to be a really good player. And I think that, cornerback might not have been a pressing need, but who's going to complain about more cornerback depth? Especially last year when you had Najee Johnson going out there and just looking confused half the time. Like, you could use another cornerback for depth, and that's exactly what Noel Williams was. And I think that there's a good chance that he plays some snaps this season. If there's any draft pick that has an opportunity to start right away or, start at some point this season, it's probably Noel Williams.
Yeah. Well, because, Williams has been disappointing. Jalen Watson has not been what they – so no, yeah, I agree. He could get some playing time this year. But, looking at these draft picks, it's just not often – it's a rare thing for just 2, 3, 4, 5 guys contribute. But on paper, it looks like a few of these guys can. So next guy, 4th round, 133rd pick, Jalen Royals from Utah State, receiver.
He's got the steal of the draft when they drafted Jalen Royals in the 4th. That's how good he is. And I know that everybody says that their team got the steal of the draft. To get Jalen Royals at pick 133 is truly a steal. And I think that if we just look at the player that he is, he's 6 foot, he's 205, big body receiver who can play on the outside. He ran the fastest 10-yard split at the combine among wide receivers. He had 10 catches of 50-plus yards over the past 2 seasons, which led all of FBS. This is a guy that consistently got open downfield, made big-time plays, and this is exactly what Patrick Mahomes needed. They finally got a deep threat that can stretch the field, go up, and make some contested catches. Covell, this is an A+. This is the easiest A+ I have ever given out in my life. And if you just look at the national consensus around this pick, I think a lot of teams are like, how did the Chiefs get this guy? How do we allow this to happen? Because he is going to be a problem. Even if he's your wide receiver 3, the Chiefs might have the best 1, 2, 3 wide receiver lineup in the NFL.
Oh, you're that high on him.
I'm buying in. I am absolutely completely bought in on the Jalen Royals stock. And guess what? He's going to have the best high-selling jersey of all time. You're going to get Royals Chiefs jersey.
Royals Chiefs jersey, yes. and you know what? So, in him as 3, so the Chiefs right now, it sounds like a foreign thing to be able to say, but, we have a lot of guys
back.
Yeah, we have a deep threat back. We have Hollywood Brown. So I'm thinking Hollywood Brown 1, Rashee Rice 2, Xavier Worthy 3, and then we have Royals. You think Royals going to be the 4th guy after there, ahead of Juju?
Where have we heard that before?
Huh?
This might shake the block a little bit. I think it goes Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Jalen Royals.
Oh.
No love
I
for
think
Juju.
Rashee Rice showed you when he was healthy last year, he was by far and away the best wide receiver on this team.
Yeah, but are you concerned with his knee injury?
not long term. I'm more concerned with Hollywood staying healthy. He hasn't really shown that he can stay healthy for a prolonged period of time.
That's fair.
Since he's been in the league. So I think there's a better chance that Rashee Rice is healthy and ready to go over Hollywood Brown.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so yeah, I didn't know much about Jeffrey Bossa or really Brashard Smith, our 5th round pick. Did you have any grades on him?
I don't have a ton of info on him just because I wasn't really scouting linebacker going into this draft. I didn't think that linebacker was that high up on the priority list.
Yeah.
And I think that was the frustrating part for the Chiefs fans that wanted the Chiefs to draft a running back, earlier on in the draft. They traded up to go get Jeffrey Bossa, but you probably could have gotten a running back at that spot that could have been a contributor. But I do like Bossa. I think he's probably going to just play special teams in 2025. But I think the hope is that he's the long-term solution for Drew Tranquill. So maybe he ends up developing. He's an athletic guy, tested very well. But in 2025, he's just going to be a special teamer.
Okay, fair enough. Brashard Smith, former receiver. He played receiver for 2 or 3 years, and then he switched to running back and had a great year at running back. So he got drafted in the 7th round. I guess we talked about him for a little bit, but how do you feel about him? You think he's going to be the next Pacheco?
I really do like Brashard Smith. I think it's hard to say that he's going to be the next Pacheco just because, listen, it is super, super hard to, be great when you're drafted in the 7th round. I mean, Pacheco is an anomaly. I know we talk about it like it's just so easy to find running backs, but to turn a 7th round draft pick into a starting running back, it's incredibly impressive. And so it's hard for me to say that Brashard Smith is going to be, the next Pacheco, but I think I see a lot of similarities. I think that they both run, I don't want to say similarly, but they both run fast. Smith is definitely faster. He ran a 4.3 at the combine. He also, showed off more, I want to say, flashy moves. He had a spin move in college that was just absolutely filthy. I think he's also got that, top-end speed that Pacheco lacks. I think that they complement each other well, but Smith is also someone that, can catch the ball to the backfield at a really high rate. He used to be a wide receiver. That transition, he didn't forget how to play wide receiver. He is still just as good as a receiver as he is a running back, and that's a guy that can do multiple things for Andy Reid in this offense, and I think that's why this front office values him so much. I mean, clearly they did because they traded up to go get him.
Yeah. Almost like McKinnon. So hopefully he can fill that role of McKinnon. And I thought, who was the running back we had with the beard and stuff? You hated him too. What's his name? Jay, do you know?
Samaje Perine?
Samaje Perine, yes.
I did not hate Samaje Perine. He was good in spurts.
He was good in spurts? Okay, yeah, he was. He was solid. But this guy here, maybe he can bring more than just solid. But the thing is, if he was to come in as a 3rd round running back, he's only played running back for 1 year, so maybe his pass protection isn't to the highest standard. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I said over the next few weeks here, I'm going to be really kind of digging into these guys, No Diddy, to get more information and see how I can watch them through training camp and see how we progress. And I do have, before we get out of here for sure, I have to ask you about Shedeur Sanders.
Oh yes. You
were waiting for that one. So how can I phrase this question? How do you think it played out? Matter of fact, let me ask you this first. Before the draft, where would you have him graded? What ground would you have him graded before we even talk about anything else? From his play on the field, his attributes, his size, his leadership, whatever. What would you say? What round would you give him?
Personally, I would have graded him as a 2nd round talent. Listen, I watched Shedeur play at Arrowhead Stadium when he played my Kansas Jayhawks, and this might be incredibly disrespectful, but the fact that I watched Kansas's defense kind of make him look silly, listen, anyone that struggles against Kansas's defense, I kind of have a hard time being like, you're going to be great at the next level. Okay, so I kind of hated on Shedeur for that reason. I thought he was a second-round talent that kind of got overinflated because of his dad and just, this quarterback class just wasn't good. Outside of Cam Ward, there really wasn't a definitive number 2. And so, listen.
And Shedeur talked himself out of that.
The fact that he fell as far as he did was incredibly disrespectful, but apparently he's not the best interviewer. So there might be some stuff behind the scenes going on that we don't all know about. But
I heard he showed up with an entourage to his interview. Like he had people in the room with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that he was like blaring music and kind of cocky. And yeah, I mean, all the kind of stuff that, billion-dollar companies don't want to hear from maybe their biggest asset.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a tough look for Shedeur. I personally, and I hope he has a great career, I kind of am rooting for him more now that he is an underdog. I don't think he's going to be very good. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, see,
he's
I
not
just
going to
don't
light Cleveland on fire. All right, the fans are going to do that
No.
after he blows a game.
Yeah, and I never thought he doesn't have a great arm. He didn't play a pro-style offense. He played for his dad, where the offense was tailored for him. He's not real fast. He's not real athletic. So, yeah, like you said second, I gave him I thought he was a second or third round quarterback if his last name was Johnson. You know what I mean? But you add his name, his dad, the whole thing around it. Deion Sanders has a mic in his face every day. Nobody Shedeur wasn't good enough to put up with that. And if we're drafting a backup quarterback, do we want all this noise around it? I think that's what mainly was the issue. And the meetings, and said if you're not ready to change your franchise, don't draft me. Okay. All right.
I like winning,
But once again, if Shedeur had Caleb Williams' talent, if he had Patrick Mahomes' talent, if he had Baker Mayfield talent, he would have went in the first round and guys would have put up with it. But not for a guy that, like I said, has probably about a second or third round quarterback besides his name. So,
I think I've heard the analogy that it's like a girl thinks that she's a 10, but in reality she's a 6. And you kind of get to a point where you're like, you're acting like a 10, but why am I going to treat you like a 10 when you're actually a 6?
Yes.
Maybe not the analogy that you were looking for, but that's the analogy I gave you.
Hey,
I got one for you,
hold
too.
on. That's a good analogy for 9:54. I don't know about 4 o'clock in the evening, but yeah. So that's perfect. What you got, Jay?
It's kind of like my grandpa always said, when it comes to women, as good as she looks, she still takes a dump. And
speaking of dump, I was trying to reach for the dump button here. I didn't know where you was going with it. but yes, your grandfather's right.
So yeah.
All right, that's a quote. All
so
right.
Shedeur going to take a giant dump on Cleveland then? Is that what you're kind of going for?
I mean, could you really tell the difference if he did? Because we know I got no love for Ohio.
Yeah, he always. Yeah, I start feeling bad for Ohio when Jay's talking about them for some reason. Almost as bad as Houston when Charles Barkley says they got big old women.
Terrible.
San Antonio, man.
It's terrible.
Terrible. Oh, big old woman. All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This show has been kind of wild. But, Darcy, for some reason, every time you call in, they're just off the rails before you get here.
I might have something to do with that.
For sure.
You bring the joy, Darcy.
You bring the joy. But in this case, today, you brought in the logic because Luke Healy being a top 2 linebacker is just...
In my opinion.
Asinine.
In my opinion.
But I am Covell Hudson. This is In the Pocket with Sports Radio 810, and we've had Michael Darcy, Kansas City Sports Report. He was on the C-list celebrity Covell Hudson show, and we have Jay Powers. And you got anything else?
Bonafide rock star Jay Powers.
I was going to say, Jay is producing the C celebrity show.
Yeah. So, that upgrades
Does that make
him.
him a C celebrity by proxy?
No, I was a C celebrity when I was on the air, okay? When I was on commercial radio and had, tens of listeners in the Kansas City area tuning in every week, you know.
Those are what we call the glory days.
Yes, indeed.
You remember when is the lowest form of conversation, but we got to get out of here. Yeah, what you promoting, Darcy? You got any?
You guys can find me on YouTube at KC Sports Report. That's kind of what, the one-stop shop for everything that I do. We've been kind of digging into this draft class. There's so much to talk about. And honestly, I thought I knew a lot about these players beforehand. I don't. I'm trying to learn on the spot. But if you guys want to see some more in-depth draft breakdowns, just head over to YouTube and type in KC Sports Report, and I hope to get Covell on the show here soon.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming, sir. And
I'll get an invite.
Oh, Jay, you might as well come on. You're going to have to leave that Luke Kuechly take, though, at the door.
I'm wearing a Luke Kuechly jersey to your house.
Leave that in Liberty or wherever you live.
Kansas City.
Okay, out there. All right. We're out of here. Thanks for coming, Darcy. It's always fun. And, yeah, we're out of here. We're out.
Yeah, we're out.
Yep, that's it.